Today we're going to be going over close reading strategies, this time annotating text digitally using the Scrible Toolbar. By now we should have all downloaded the Scrible Toolbar on our computers, and we are ready to begin. First I will model one for you. Okay, I'm at the Time for Kids website, and I have found the article that I'm going to read. The article I'm going to read is called An Earthquake Rocks Chile. The first thing that I'm going to do is read the whole article, and then I'm going to go back and make my notes. Remember, as I'm reading, I'm looking for the main idea, something that is surprising, a question that I have, and new vocabulary. So as I'm reading, I'm going to keep those things in mind, but first I'm going to read the article one time through. An earthquake rocks Chile. The powerful quake causes power outages and a small tsunami, but not much damage. April 2nd, 2014, by Kelly Plaskett with AP reporting. Fishermen inspect boats that washed onto the dock after a tsunami hit the northern part of Iquique, Chile. A massive earthquake occurred off the coast of northern Chile on Tuesday night, setting off a small tsunami. The wave of seawater forced evacuations along the country's entire Pacific coast. The quake was one of several to hit the region over the past 2 weeks. Tuesday's magnitude 8.2 quake struck 61 miles northwest of Iquique, Chile, a northern coastal city with a population of 200,000 people. Tremors were felt 290 miles away in La Paz, the capital of Bolivia. The shaking in La Paz was the equivalent of a 4.5 magnitude tremor, authorities there said. The earthquake also set off tsunami warnings in Hawaii, thousands of miles away. Earthquake effects. The quake began at 8:46 p.m. local time and set off landslides that blocked roads, knocked out power for thousands of people, damaged an airport, and started fires that destroyed several businesses. Authorities reported a total of 6 deaths. Chilean President Michelle Bachelet declared a state of emergency and was reviewing damage in Iquique. The country appeared to get through the incident mostly unharmed. Thousands of people moved inland as waves measuring more than 6 feet struck coastal cities. The mandatory evacuation order lasted nearly 10 hours. While the tsunami lifted some fishing boats onto city streets and sunk others, it otherwise caused no major damage. The photo caption says, residents of Iquique, Chile take refuge at the city stadium following a tsunami alert triggered by an 8.5 magnitude earthquake on April 1st. Most of the mining industry in Chile, the world's leading copper producer, is located in the northern regions. So far, none of the top mining companies in the areas appears to have been affected. In Iquique, about 300 inmates escaped from a women's prison. Security officials were sent to the city to protect it from looting, and several dozen prisoners were quickly captured. Hundreds of soldiers were also sent to the quake zone. We have taken action to ensure public order in the case of Iquique, Interior Minister Rodrigo Pedaleo said, so that the armed forces and police can coordinate and provide tranquility and security to the residents. The country has done a good job of confronting the emergency, Bachelet said in a message posted on Twitter. I call everyone to stay calm and follow the authorities' instructions. And the caption says, a house in Iquique is left in ruins following the powerful quake. So now I'm ready to think about the annotations I will make on this article. The first thing I'm going to look for is the main idea. I know that this article was about an earthquake, and it was also about a tsunami. The main idea is actually in the very first sentence. A massive earthquake occurred off the coast of northern Chile on Tuesday night, setting off a small tsunami. That is the main idea, because the rest of the article is about that. It is about the earthquake and the tsunami that occurred in northern Chile. So that is what I will annotate as my main idea. To use the Scribble Toolbar, I'm going to click on a sticky note. And then I can highlight this first sentence. I'm going to move the toolbar out of the way a little bit. And I'm going to type that this sentence is the main idea. Okay, now I am ready to start looking for something that was surprising to me. There were things that were interesting facts, things that are surprising for this next annotation that I found as I was reading. The thing that really surprised me was, even though the earthquake happened at 8:46 p.m., and I know that's a time that most people are probably at home, the country appeared to get through the incident mostly unharmed. So that was something that stuck out to me as that was surprising. I'm going to change the color of my sticky note because I'm doing a new annotation now. And I can highlight. I'm going to highlight that sentence. And I remember for something surprising, I simply need an exclamation point, because that was something that surprised me. I'm going to add a little bit more detail. I'm going to say, it surprises me that there was not more damage from the earthquake. This is a good surprise, but it is still a surprise. What other surprising things did I find as I was reading? Oh yes, it says in here that Chile is the world's leading copper producer. And the reason that surprises me and that stuck out to me is because I live in a town that is also known for copper. So that is a connection that I have with Chile. So I will highlight this, still in red, because I'm still doing something surprising. Oops, I forgot to look at my sticky note first. I'm going to highlight this, and now I am ready for my exclamation point because I am surprised by this, and I can say, Chile is known for copper, just like love is. Because that is something surprising. I would not think that I have a connection with this place in Chile that I'm hearing about on the news. Something else that was surprising to me, I remember there was something about La Paz, Bolivia. Let's look and see what it said about La Paz, Bolivia. Today's magnitude 8.2 quake struck 61 miles northwest of Iquique, Chile, a northern coastal city with a population of 200,000 people. Tremors were felt 290 miles away in La Paz, Bolivia. Wow, that is surprising to me. 290 miles. That is, I want to say that's close to here, from here to Flagstaff. So that would be like us having an earthquake and then feeling it in Flagstaff, and that is surprising to me. So again, my exclamation point, because I am surprised. I am surprised that they felt the tremors that far away. Okay, and now when I go to the sticky notes, that shows me what I highlighted for each one. And I can also move them around if I wanted to, and put everything surprising in one place. Kind of makes the screen a little bit neater that way. If I wanted to, I could even hide all of the notes. So that I could just click on the sticky note later on if I wanted to see it. For now, I'll show them all again so that I can see what I have done. Now I'm ready to look for a question that I have. So as I was reading, what was something that I wondered? As I was reading, I noticed that 300 inmates escaped from a women's prison. That is a lot of inmates. Security officials went to protect it, and several dozen prisoners were quickly captured. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. So several dozen might only be 60 people out of 300. What about the rest of them? So that is a question that I had. This is a different annotation now. I'm no longer doing something surprising. So I'm going to change the color. I will use green for my questions. So I'm going to highlight this fact. This is actually a couple sentences. I'll highlight the whole thing. Now I'll do a question mark to show that I'm writing an annotation about a question. What happened to the other prisoners? Are they still at large? That is a question that I have. What other questions do I have? Another question that I had was when I said thousands of people moved inland. Did those people stay safe? That is something I would go back and review and see if I could find that information. Now I'm ready to look for vocabulary. Some unfamiliar words that I saw as I was reading. I know that there were some. Evacuations. Now that is a word that I will look up. Evacuations. I can infer what that might mean, but that might be one that we look up. Where was that word? Evacuations. There it is. Vocab. Evacuations. What other words were unfamiliar to me? Tsunami. I wonder what a tsunami is. I can predict what it might be. Maybe it's something like a hurricane? But that's something we can look up too. So we will look up vocab tsunami. Okay, now that we've completed our annotations, I have at least 8 annotations. I've met the requirement. Now that I've completed my 8 annotations, I'm ready to save this in my library. And share it with the class. Okay, I will see all of you in the forum.